Hello, everybody. Hero77 here, and welcome to Shifty Sunday. We are standing by with God's Armor and Sagirictly speaking. How's everybody doing tonight?
I'm doing wonderful. How about yourself?
Not too bad. How are you, God's Armor?
I'm good. But I got a bone to pick with you. I might as well just get it out the way right at the top of the show. Saji's an accomplice too, so but it ain't his fault. You're the ringleader of the whole bunch. But I see you both went live during my Wednesday word broadcast, so thank you very much for that. Always appreciate it when you just run right over my weekly sermon.
Hey, I totally blame Sag for that. I told him. I said, "Hey," he said, "You want to go on?" And I said, "Yeah, let's go." I said, "No, not really." I said, God's Armor's doing Wednesday Word, right?" And he said, "No, we're going to go on."
Okay, all right. Get your shovel and boots, people.
Yeah, you can tell that he actually does kind of feel bad about it, as do I. But
It just tore up. I could tell.
you know what? We thought when we got off, it was right before it was starting. We were an hour off though. I got off and I realized it was when we got off the air. I went to click on it and realized it was already over. And it ended just the same time we did.
No, I'm just kidding anyway. I'm just busting his balls. I told him I was going to do it live. I wouldn't tell him what about, but I said, "You're going to get it live." He thought it was because I wasn't on the show with you, but oh no, it's because you run over my Wednesday word. But that's all right. You missed a good one. Go check it
You
out.
know, and we had people in chat that could have told us, but and they failed to tell us. They all just left, and we didn't know where they went. And I'm sure they left our show and went to yours. I'm just saying.
Maybe I had my normal little crew. Yeah, I just had to bust your balls. You know how it goes. It's hard not to step on other people's toes, but when they do have
Yeah.
a scheduled broadcast that they've been doing for months, it's sort of easy.
So since I missed it, how did it go? Tell us
Oh,
about it.
it's a good one. It was let me see, which one was it? I just made this week's, so now I don't want to get it confused with last week's. I just got done uploading this week's and getting it ready. Last week, what was last week's? Heck, I don't remember. Hold on, got me on the spot now. I know what this week's is. It's
What's
good
this
too.
week's?
This week's the Sandy Poonen one. You will get to know the Father by hearing his voice. Is the title of it. It's pretty good, darn good.
Then also that insult to injury. I also totally missed Jesus's calling show after I told her I'd be there to help her moderate or whatever if she needed it.
Well,
I realized I
that one
totally
didn't
missed her
go up.
show.
That one didn't happen. She had technical difficulties. Yeah, it didn't happen. So we're gonna do it next week, hopefully. Yeah, that one got canceled.
Oh, God's Armor, why'd you tell him that? I was going to lead him along, let him think that he did something.
Well, I figure if I'm gonna bat, I better bat 1,000, right?
No, but no, man, that totally would have been a good one to get you on. But no, you didn't miss anything, and neither did I. So I'm guilty of it too. If I missed anything, which we didn't, so thank goodness for Chef BRD, right?
For
Yeah,
sure.
no. Last week was David Wilkerson, How to Live by One's Faith. That was a powerful one too. So definitely want to check it out.
Well, I'm going through I'm not making excuses, but I'm sharing. Um, I've been going through some transitional stuff this past, I don't know, I guess 10 to 14 days. It seems like I've been waiting a long time for things to kind of like nudge me one way or the other, and I've been getting a lot of nudging. So, and it's a good thing that I'm finally getting some change that's starting to occur. But it's kind of a lot of the free time that I normally have, where I can just do whatever I want, is no longer existent.
Cool. Yeah, it's definitely a slow process and a never-ending process. So yeah, as long as you're in the process, you're on the right track. That's what I always figure.
Yep, you're either a part of the problem or a part of the solution, right?
Yeah, you really only got two choices. I mean, you can't ride the fence. If you ride the fence, you're just a part of the problem because you ain't helping the solution. So you're either an active part of the problem or just a don't care part of the problem. But yeah.
Well, I've got kind of a weird story to tell you guys that happened to me a couple days ago in the dollar store. I see we've only got 2 listeners right now, so I'll go ahead and tell the story before we open the phone lines.
We got Preliminal here.
Oh, well, hey, Prelim, how you doing, buddy? Thanks for joining us. But as soon as we get enough people in, we'll open the phone lines. Even if maybe we'll only have 2 people calling, but who knows? We'll give it a try anyway. But yeah, I was in the dollar store and I was in the food aisle, and I was looking at the foods. And you guys know the old Mandela Effect, the stovetop stuffing, right? You guys remember that one?
No, I'm not sure. Could you sing it one more time just to help me kind of?
Oh, come on, Sagirictly speaking. I thought we would spare the viewers my horrid singing voice. But I mean, if you want me to, I can.
No, I know what you're talking about. I just wanted to see if I could get you to sing it again.
What was the name of the song? Naikas is here too. Hi, Naikas.
Stovetop stuffing.
Oh, the Stokers jingle. Okay.
Yeah. So, but anyway, I was staring at the box, and oh, hi, Suso. Suso's here. He says he can't stay though. It's a shame because we're having the call in tonight, but that's cool. Thanks for stopping by.
I didn't even see the doctor sneaking in the house. Always good.
So, yeah, on with my story. I'm standing there, I'm staring at the box, and it just says stovetop. And I'm sitting there staring at it, and I'm staring at it, and there's people passing by me, and I'm staring at it, and people are talking. I hear her the next couple hours over, where are you at? And I'm not answering. And it's just like I'm in a trance, and I can't figure out. I'm looking at it, I'm like, I don't ever remember this ever saying craft on it. And I'm thinking back on the Mandela Effect, and it hits my brain like a bolt of lightning. I'm like, oh, that's what they're talking about all this time about the Mandela Effect. They're talking about it never ever said Stofers. It was never from Stofers. And my mind just goes blank a minute, and I'm like, yeah, but it's always been Stouffer. It's always been Stouffer stovetop stuffing. And I'm sitting there thinking in my head, and then I look down, and when I look down, I see Idaho potatoes, instant Idaho potatoes, but it's not spelt Idaho. It's spelt differently. And I'm looking at it, and I'm thinking, there's another Mandela Effect staring me right in the face. And then I look over, and I see something else, and it was another Mandela Effect, and just one right after another. And I'm like, man, I must be down the Mandela Effect aisle. And it was just something weird that happened to me. And it was almost like something had sunk me into a trance, and I just could not stop staring at this box. And I thought, it struck me, and I'm like, when I get home, I'm going to check it out, and I'm going to see if I could find some old commercials from on YouTube. So oddly enough, I get home and I get on YouTube, and I'm checking out the old commercials, and every single one of the old commercials only say stovetop, stovetop, stovetop. And I'm like, man, this is weird. I specifically remember Stouffer's stovetop, and none of them say Stouffer's. But then I clicked on one video, and then the title, sure enough, it says Stouffer's stovetop stuffing commercial. And I'm like, I'm going to click on it. So I click on it, and nowhere in the commercial did they ever say Stouffer's.
You know what's funny? I did the same thing when I first found out about it. I don't mean to cut you off, but this is like a real hot topic for me because of all the Mandela effects. I told you this yesterday. The Stouffer's was the one, man. This is the one that like really irks me out. I did just that because I remember the commercial with the boy where he calls home and he's on the phone with his mom or whatever, and they offer to let him. They tell him that he can come over or he can spend the night, or stay for dinner or whatever, and he's like not sure if he wants to or not, or and then they say, well, we're having stovetop, and then he's like, Mom, they're having stovetop, and so he decides he's going to stay. But I guess you guys probably don't know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, the commercial from back in my day, I remember that one too. But the tagline they used the most back in my day was "Nobody makes stuffing like Stouffer's." So,
yep, totally remember that one as well. Yeah. And then as a joke, because I know so many people know this or believe that that they don't even know that it don't exist anymore. They don't even notice when they pick up the box that it says Kraft now instead of stovetop. I guess they got the download or whatever, but I'll say like around Thanksgiving time, I even did it to my brother and my aunt and my mom's in them. You know what I'm saying? Like anybody and everybody that I talked to, I was like, "Yo, you guys making Stouffer's for Thanksgiving this year?" And everybody always just says, "Yeah, we're going to have Stouffer's," because that's just what we called it. Because that's just what it was. It wasn't. I mean, yeah, you say stovetop, but you would just say Stouffer's stovetop too. And I swear that people just go right along with it. Like, yeah, of course we're having it. And I go, no, you're not. You're not going to have Stouffer's. They're like, why? They look at me like I just grew a second or third head. And I'm like, because it doesn't exist anymore.
Right.
You can't buy it.
And like who ever said stovetop when they were growing up? I remember years ago in my family, my grandma would always make homemade dressing. Like she would make it from scratch. And the joke in our house was like, boy, this sure beats Stouffer's. We never said stovetop. We just said Stouffer's. So it was, I know for a fact that was the joke in our house. And boy, you should send, hey grandma, you should send Stouffer's your recipe, or it was, it was that joke. It was Stouffer's. It was never stovetop. You know what I'm saying?
Totally. If you don't mind, I'm going to play this the audio from that clip I sent you.
Oh, sure. Go ahead.
All right, hold on. I'm bringing it up now. I'll press and play. We'll see if it works. Because usually you can hear what I play.
5 worst words I can hear from anybody is that we made our own stuffing. I don't want to hear that.
Really?
Yes, stuffing, come on. The people at Stovetop, they know what they're doing. Let them do, right? Honestly, every day for 100 years, these people drive to a building that says Stouffer's on it. They go in there, they make stuffing all day long.
Yeah.
And you, in your little kitchen in Ronkonkoma, are going to try to bang out some stuffing that's going to top this? It's literally, that's like me going, you know what, I'm going to go to the Olympics next year. I'm going to do the Olympics.
Yeah. What are you
See, who is that? I can't remember his name.
Yeah, Kevin James.
Yeah, Jimmy Fallon.
Yeah. That's definitely weird, man. how he would just. Oh, sorry, I'm echoing. But that's definitely weird how he would say it without even thinking. He said the Stouffer's building, and Jimmy Fallon just went right along with it without even saying anything. And I mean, he's not going to correct him anyway. But
And did you hear the audience like applause?
Yeah, why was nobody saying, what the heck, Stofers?
Exactly.
that was a good find, man. But that's what I'm saying. It's like I was just standing in that aisle staring at that box going stovetop. Like it just blew my mind. But yeah, I know it's an old Mandela effect, and a lot of people talked about it for a long time, but I just wanted to share that story with you and tell you how it resonated with me. And I know it resonates with a lot of people, that one Mandela effect. And so, yeah, that was my story.
Every time I walk by cup noodles in the grocery store, I cringe. I can't take it. As in the Army, I ate a lot of cup O noodles. Never ate a cup noodle in my life. Never want to.
Yeah, unless the cup itself was made out of noodle, right?
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, that's another one for me, the cup noodle. Can't deal with it. Won't even look at it. I shield my eyes.
How would that even make sense in the English language? I mean, it's just cup noodle. I didn't mean to say that. Say it. You can't even say it without sounding racist. I mean, it's just cup noodle, I mean, just try to say it without, I mean, it should be cup o noodle. Cup o noodle, not just cup noodle. Even if it was changed to something, even if the company changed it, wouldn't they change it to cup of noodle or cup of noodles? Because it wouldn't just be one noodle anyway, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it don't sound right. It sounds like a sleeping position now.
A what now?
A sleeping position like spooning or something.
Oh, the noodle position.
The
Yeah.
cup noodle.
We were cup noodling last night.
Oh boy. Yeah, I got you now. Okay. Man, I bought this new computer desk, and as soon as I took it out of the box, it's got that new paint smell, and it's like that new paint smell now is giving me kind of a headache. I think it may be making me kind of loopy. I don't know. So just be careful. Just if I say anything kind of out of whack, just let me know. Put me on mute or something. I don't know.
You were
All right,
down
so
there where we
it has
started.
nothing to do with the label you were showing us before the broadcast, though, right?
Oh no.
I'm just teasing you.
Although I will say this, it is Cinco de Mayo, so just wanted to throw that out there. Anybody that's out there celebrating tonight, Cinco de Mayo, be careful. They got 99-cent tacos over at Taco John's for Taco Tuesday. So even though it's Sunday, that seems odd, but it's for Cinco de Mayo. So everybody celebrating, just be careful. And I got to tell you something else while we're at it. I can't drink tequila. Tequila just does not agree with me at all. Never has. Just wanted to throw that out there. You brought up the label that I showed you. So just wanted to throw that out there.
That's odd because that tequila is like my go-to when I don't really drink hardly ever, but when I do drink, it's not Dos Equis or anything like that. It's a Patron tequila. I love some Patron, some silver Patron.
Isn't tequila, that word tequila, isn't that now a Mandela effect too now?
I don't know.
I figure at this point, nothing is safe. Anything that has a peculiar spelling is up for grabs.
Hey, we could ask Suso while he's on there, if because he brought up an interesting one that I never even noticed before. Of course, I never drank Budweiser, but he mentioned that Anheuser, he did a video about it. Yeah, Anheuser used to have an I in it, and now the I's gone out of Anheuser. And I never noticed it, never really even thought about it before. And then I watched his video, and I was watching a Cardinal baseball game, and I looked, and sure enough, it looked like it doesn't have an I in it anymore. And I do remember, seemed like we had a Budweiser, factory where I'm at one time, and I do remember seeing the I in Anheuser. And we can ask.
Doesn't Budweiser have an I in it too when you spell Budweiser?
Yeah, Budweiser does.
And is it the I? Was it the I in Anheuser in the same place as it is in Budweiser?
You mean like the fourth letter over? And
yeah, right after it was right after the E or the A.
Right after the A, yeah.
Yeah.
I think so, but I wanted to ask Suso about tequila though, because he would have an interesting perspective on that if he seen any changes in the word tequila, because I think that's been a Mandela effect as well.
What would be the alternate spelling for tequila? I spell it Tequila. What would be the other spelling?
I think it's, let's see. See, I just tripped myself up by I'm not sure what it was. Oh, there's the alternate. There's the spelling, how Anheuser is spelled now. Anheuser, Anheuser, and I think it was Anhiuser, right?
I don't know. I'm still getting over the fact my baloney had a first name. Now my beer does too.
Right. Well, the baloney, that one for me did not change. Actually, I'm one of the few that didn't believe that that's changed, because I've spelled it the same. Because when I sing the song, I sing it. Let's see, how's that? My baloney has a first name. It's, let's see, how's that go? Oh, it's Scar. My baloney has a second name. It's Mayer. And that's the way it's always been for me. But for everyone else, it would Meyar or Me. What's the change on that?
Yeah, I think it's now Meyer, but it used to be Mayer.
But tequila, I think tequila seems like it's a lot longer or a lot shorter than it used to be for me. I haven't looked at Suso's response yet, but I'm pretty sure like it was a lot.
I thought tequila had two. I just spelled Tequila. I thought it had two L's.
Oh, the double L theory. I can see that.
Near El Paso and drank a lot of tequila back in the day.
I'm not even sure if I mean tequila. Yeah, you pronounce Tequila. It's the U that you don't pronounce technically, right?
Yes. But you say tequila. Tequila. I thought it was two L's. I didn't even know that's a change. I haven't looked at a bottle of tequila in a long time, but yeah, one L is weird for me.
Okay, yeah, I can see that.
It's definitely, I won't say definitely, but it's a change that I've noticed. I'm not calling it an exact Mandela effect, but I've noticed a change. I think it might have been on someone's show. It might have been on Scarab's show. Someone called it in. But yeah, so guys, we don't really have much going on right now. Did you notice any effects this week, Sagittarically speaking?
No, I mean, other than that one I sent you about the Sesame Street character.
Oh yeah, the Snuffleupagus. Snuffleupagus. Snuffleupagus almost sounds like a bad word if you like kind of jumble around, say it the wrong way. I could probably say that word better when I'm drunk.
Yeah, either that or it's like a puppeteer who's really pissed off.
He's trying to say an alternate bad word, like an alternate word for a bad word instead of like, oh, Snuffleupagus. He goes and stubs his toe or something. Snuffleupagus, what in the Snuffleupagus are you doing? Yeah, okay. That's enough of that. But no, what was the Snuffleupagus? I kind of forgot. I knew it was GH, like some people say it GH, and then some people were saying it F with the F Snuffleupagus, and then there was a GH. Was that the change, the GH and Snuffleupagus?
Hold on a second. I want to bring it up on my phone here.
The change is some think it's Snuffleupagus, and some think it's Snuffleupagus.
Yeah, that sounds right. It's with a P or an F. It's it's either S. The proper spelling is SNUFFLEUPAGUS. However, most people I know have always pronounced it. They didn't pronounce it with a P, Snuffleupagus. It was Mr. Snuffleupagus with a F, EUFAGUS. That's how I remember it. I mean, I wouldn't say it's a really strong one. Like it's not nearly like it doesn't. It's not nearly as a big deal to me as stovetop stuffing. But I do remember it. I remember it with an F, and I noticed that people are kind of starting to talk about it in the Mandela circles as a possible change.
We've lost everyone. Yeah, that one I'm definitely torn with. When I say it, I say it more like Snuffleupagus, but then Snuffleupagus. Yeah, I'm so torn with that one. But I would lean towards Snuffleupagus.
Yeah, it's one of those ones where like, I mean, you can't. Most people couldn't spell it if they had to, and to save their lives. If you put them on the spot and spell Mr. Snuffleupagus or Upagus, but it's how you pronounce it more so than how you spell it. Do you pronounce it with a P or do you pronounce it with an F? And it does kind of sound like now that I'm thinking about it, like if it was going to be a cuss word, it would be something that they would say at Hogwarts, when they stub their toe or something.
Okay, I just sent the information out. We can go ahead and open them, even though we've only got like 3 people watching. But I want to talk more about Snuffleupagus just for a few seconds, but then we'll open up the phone lines. So a PH But see, the thing about the pH is when you're a little kid, when I was a little kid, I was a really bad, I'm still very bad at pronunciating words. When I was a little kid, I wouldn't have said it with a pH. I would have said Snuffleupagus, Snuffleupagus. Like you said, you, sorry. What? Go ahead, man. What?
No, it's just funny because it sounds like you're drunk when you say it like that.
Well, that's what I said earlier. If I was drunk, I'd probably say it better.
I know, right? And what is? I mean, I don't know. It's like I think that it can get to the point of semantics. It's just it resonated with me a little bit because I don't remember being with a P, but I do see what you're saying. I totally get it. Does anybody in chat have anything to say about it one way or the other? There, God's Armor.
No, I'm not seeing much about Snuffy in the chat. Talking about the color rainbow stars. And Naika said the correct spelling now is Mayer for Oscar Mayer, which I sang it the same way Hebrew did, so I always remember Meyer, but people remember Meyer. So that's the change. The change right now it is Mayer, but people remember Meyer.
Yeah, I'd have to say I'm in the Meyer crowd. That's how I remember it as well.
Yeah, I remember MA just from singing the jingle.
But even if you could sing it with either letter, and the jingle would still sound the same. Just, I mean, Meyer or Mayer. It's not like you're really changing the pitch a whole lot.
No, but it's just like Snuffleupagus. I say it naturally, uff. Same way with that. When I sing the jingle, it's naturally Mayer, just personally.
Yeah, I think I might be taking a download because now when you just said that, that A does sound right too. It's so weird.
Yeah, it's strange. That's the weird thing about it. We see different things. That's what's strange. But it's also what makes it interesting. Let me know when you want me to put the phone number in the chat. I got it ready.
Okay, I've got the conference ready to go. It's all set up. You can put the number anytime you want. We've got the phone lines open. If anybody wants to call in, God's Armor is going to put the number up in the chat. Oh, he's got it up there. So we'll just wait and see if anybody wants to call. I'll have to check it every once in a while because I don't have it set up to where you guys can see it.
Yeah, you have to keep your eye on it.
Leave that caterpillar above his eye like 2 inches too.
You don't get like a bat signal that goes across your yard or anything, like up in the sky.
No, unfortunately, I wish I did. That'd be awesome. That'd be nothing short of amazing. But how come it says 45 minutes? What's that all about?
What do you mean? Maybe that's how long we've been talking.
No. It's a minute first. It says something about when I set up the Uber conferences, it's something about 45 minutes or something like that, but I've got it set to 120. I don't know. We'll see. If we get cut off, oh well. There's only 3 people watching our broadcast right now, but if you guys want to go deep with something else, we can go deep with other subjects. We don't have to stick with Mandela Effect stuff. In fact, I have for you guys tonight a topic that I want to talk about. I want to talk about one more thing. I want to talk about Mr. Bill real quick, and then that's the thing. the one thing we missed about God's Armor is getting his opinion on Mr. Bill. And then there's something that happened to me, that's been happening to me, and I think it's been happening to a lot of us, that I wanted to talk about, and that's sleep patterns, the amount of sleep, the lack of sleep, and stuff like that. But I want to go ahead and get God's Armor, his opinion on Mr. Bill real quick while we're waiting for someone to call in. So
Well, we only had 3 channels when I was growing up, and I never missed Saturday Night Live. John Belushi, Dan Aykroyd, Chevy Chase. That was classic stuff back then. Looked forward to it every week. And Mr. Bill was, when it came on, it was always like super special because they didn't play him all the time. So it was awesome to see Mr. Bill. And he definitely said, "Oh no." That was the whole catchphrase. I had lunchbox. There was t-shirts all about Mr. Bill and "oh no." I mean, there's no doubt in my mind it was "oh no." When you played them clips, I was freaking out. I'm like, what the heck did they do? Not Mr. Bill. It's like, that's almost as sacred as when they messed with the Bible to me. Mr. Bill, come on.
Well, I don't know about that, but like, yeah, I mean, like, there's even a Mr. Pizza Head show. I don't know if you remember, they did Pizza Hut had a promotional deal back in the 90s, I believe it was, where they had a exact content, and it was Mr. Bill style show commercials, but they did it with a slice of pizza, and they called it the Mr. Pizza Head show. And his enemy was the pizza slicer, and he even did the whole no bit as well. And I kind of wish I would have found those clips that night when we did the Mr. Bill Mandela Effect, because that would have been some excellent residue. Can anybody possibly Google real fast? I can't do it because I'll lose the whole broadcast. But if anybody can just like Google that real fast on YouTube and try to find those, it's called the Mr. Pizza Head Show. If anybody can anybody do that real fast?
I could try, but it's going to take me a second, and I won't be able to talk while I'm doing it. So you'll have to.
I'm already on it.
All right. Another. I'll wait till after we do this. I do have one other thing. Remind me later that I want to talk about.
Well, you can go ahead and talk about it while he's looking that up.
Well, the other one that I saw that came across my Twitter feed. I don't know how familiar you are with Joan Jett and the Blackhearts.
Joan Jett and the Blackhearts.
She sang a song that was pretty popular. I love rock and roll.
Oh yeah.
Or something along those lines. Put another dime in the jukebox, baby. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, seen her in concert.
Apparently, the first time she did that song, the early version, now she did it with the Sex Pistols, not the Blackhearts.
No, she's always was Joan Jett and the Blackhearts. I don't recall her being with the Sex Pistols at all. But I have
know.
commercials queued up. I found the Pizza Head guy.
All right.
But yeah, that's crazy. Joan Jett and the Blackhearts. That's, in my memory, that's what it always was. I don't recall her being with the Sex Pistols.
Yeah, apparently now there's a early version of the song where she sings it with the Sex Pistols. It just kind of just cropped up out of nowhere.
Sure, it ain't maybe just a special thing they got together and did it after she became famous with it or something, maybe.
Yeah, I haven't really looked into it yet. I just thought I would bring it up to see if anybody even remembers her ever even doing that version, because all of a sudden it exists.
Okay, this Pizza Hut commercial is weird. There's a whole string of them. I listened to the first one just to see what he said. And this is not the way Mr. Bill said, "oh no." But I think it does say, "oh no." So let me play it. Let me know if you can hear it.
Pizza Head. You'll be perfectly safe in there. Okay.
Can you guys hear it?
Yeah, I could hear it.
Yep.
All right. Did you hear how he said, "Oh no"?
Yeah.
He did
Exactly.
say no. That isn't a Mr. Bill "oh no," but they may have had to do that for copyright. But he's clearly mimicking Mr. Bill and says "oh no."
Right, but see, it's the same guy that does Mr. Bill is
Yeah.
apparently doing that commercial, so really wouldn't have a he wouldn't have a copyright issue with himself.
No, you wouldn't. Unless it was Saturday Night Live type thing.
Right, yeah, unless they own the rights to it, like they bought them from him or something. Yeah.
But yeah, we can listen to another one. There's a couple on here. Let me find another spot.
Hey, wait a second, he's not a chef. Sure he is. He just wants to show you how they make thin and crispy pizza. Of course, there's Bigfoot pizza. Or my favorite, pan pizza. Well, that's all for today, kids. See you next time. Now it's time for the Pizza Hut Show. Hey, get a pizza pack with a Marvel card, a Marvel comic book, and a cup for $2.99 at Pizza Hut. You can collect all four, one each week. That's great, Pizza Head. And here comes this week's supply. Oh, I'm seeing stars here. That's no star. That's a meteor. A meteor? Help, help, help. You're not Pizza Head. Here's Super Steve to save you. Oh, good. Hey, wait, he's not a superhero. Sure he is. And he says you'll be safe if you stand right here. Well, then who's a superhero? See you next time. It's not a real superhero. It's the pizza.
Yeah, you don't really say "oh no." But yeah, there's like 10 minutes worth of this. I don't want you to get a copyright, but I'll mute up and see if I find another "oh no," and then I'll get back to you.
Yeah, I know it. We mentioned it early on the other show, but I do want to say I distinctly remember Mr. Bill saying, oh no. He would say "oh" twice, and then he would follow it with a "no." I plainly remember it that way.
So, and also, we talked about him saying, oh no, don't put me in there. No. But he would do that in his regular voice, and then he would do it again. He'd go, oh no, after he'd squish him or whatever. But that Mr. Pizza Head show, I thought that would be a good one to bring up because I thought there might be some residual from it. And sure enough, we heard, oh no, it's very vague, but you can hear it. But after he plays this clip, I wanted to bring up, if he finds any more of them, I wanted to bring up some other stuff that has to do with lightning and stuff like that. But I wanted to bring up the sleeping experiences. Have you had any weird sleeping experiences here lately?
Just not a weird, I don't know how to put it. The weird thing for me is I have a hard time sleeping. Like I can only sleep for like 3 or 4 hours at a time. And I wake up and I can't get back to sleep. So I just go ahead and get up. And I'm up for maybe, 8 to 10 hours, and I go back to sleep for 3 or 4 hours. And then I do it all over again. It's not just like I think a part of that might be the fact that I don't have a set schedule. I haven't had a set schedule for a while, but now things are starting to transition, like I mentioned earlier. So I'm having a hard time catching my sleep when I need to because I can't seem to sleep for longer than a few hours at a time.
Yeah, what's happened to me, and I've noticed it's happened to a lot of people within the Mandela community, is we'll get up at like 2 a.m. and then we'll stay up till about 6 or 7 and then go back to sleep and then wake up, and then it'll be 2 or 3 in the afternoon. And for me, at least, like, especially during the times when I was unemployed, like I'm unemployed right now, and I used to take naps. Like I would take nap like 12 or 1 in the afternoon and be all right the rest of the day and have plenty of energy throughout the day. And then now it seems like I can't even get that nap in. I get that nap in. I used to sleep, turn the fan on, take a nap, get a nap in, and be fine the rest of the day. Now I can't even do that. I get up at 2 or 3 in the morning and I'm up all day long, and then my sleep pattern screwed up. Then I'm up again at 2, then I'm up again at 3, and then it feels like I don't have any energy to do anything. Like, oh, I gotta get that lawn mowed. No, I can't do it. I can't do it. Then I come back in, I got shortness of breath, and stuff, just general stuff like that. But I would just chalk it up, say, well, I'm getting older. I haven't worked out for the better half of the winter, and that could have a lot to do with it too. But and I would just say that's just it, and just write it off as, oh well, I haven't gotten any exercise and I'm suffering from winter lag. But it seems like it's happening with everybody within the Mandela affected community, not just me, and it's not just us older people either. It's younger people too. I've talked to people between the ages of 18 and 32, and they seem to have the same problem.
You pretty much described it perfectly too. I mean, I couldn't have said it better myself. That's pretty much it. You nailed it, man.
Yeah, and my sleep habits been jacked up for a while. I never go to bed before usually 2, 3 in the morning. Luckily with my job, that don't matter, because when I'm working 18, 20 hours straight. So, but yeah, I seldom fall asleep before 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, and then I sleep till 10, 11 o'clock the next day.
It all ties in also. I wonder, the whole ear ringing thing. I'll tell you a funny story about that real quick, and then I'll let you guys talk about your ear ringing experiences. Um, we were in Walmart the other day, and I heard this high pitched squeal, and I turned to my wife and I looked at her and said, "Uh oh." I said, "I'm getting that ear ringing again," and she said, "No, we're all getting that." What it was something that was going on over the it was over the what do you call those microphones? Um, you know what I'm talking about.
Like the telecom on the store.
Yeah, the intercom thing. So it wasn't just me, thank goodness this time. But usually when that happens, it seems like right after I have an ear ringing, it seems like a big event happens, or there's a Mandela effect. The last time I had the ear ringing sensation, Campbell's Soup changed its name from Campbell's, CAMBELLES, to Camp Bowls, CAMPBELLES. So do any of you guys have the ear ringing effects? And if you do you have a Mandela effect happen to you right after that?
I don't know, because I can't. I can't say I have a lot of the ear ringing experiences. I can't say it's never happened, because I have experienced it, so I know what you're talking about. But I don't have that happen they're so far and few between. I wouldn't be able to say that they coincided with anything in particular.
Yeah, and I'm basically the opposite end in the spectrum, because in 2008, I think it was, I got diagnosed with some rare disease called Meniere's disease or something, because I was having bad ear ringing, and it literally had me down for a year. I couldn't get out of bed. I couldn't eat, couldn't do anything. It was intense.
Yeah, and I've had it happen like as part of a deja vu type experience too, where like the ear ringing thing kind of happens. I don't know about you guys, but sometimes when when I'm having a deja vu moment, I've learned the last thing I want to do is say it out loud that this is deja vu, because it seems like if you say that, then it ends it right there. The deja vu experience ends. So I've learned to just quit saying it, even though I realize it subconsciously or in my, I realize it. I don't want to say out loud to whoever is there with me or wherever I'm at. I don't want to ruin the moment. I want to let it play out. And it seems like if you don't say this is deja vu, then you get to see the end of the deja vu versus interrupting it with the stating out loud that you're experiencing one. Just food for thought.
I had a deja vu moment happen to me the other day. We were at my father-in-law's 80th birthday party, and it's not quite his birthday yet, not till the 9th, but we celebrated it yesterday. And my daughter lost one of her Barbie doll items, and they were playing. We were at a outdoor type thing. Of course, it had been raining 4 or 5 days in a row, so it was muddy and wet, nasty out, and all that junk. And I was thinking, oh my goodness, now I got to go out here and search for this little tiny. It's like a little tiny Barbie doll watch, and I'm out here looking for this thing. And when you're a little kid, something like that, you really hate missing accessories and stuff like that. I can remember being a little kid playing with GI Joes and losing guns and whatever, and oh man, I just lost my GI Joe gun or He-Man sword, whatever the case may be. And I'm out here searching and searching for this thing, and I'm sitting here thinking, man, this has happened before. It's like the same exact situation with the same exact kids at the same exact party, even though we never had that party before, obviously. And it seemed like the same exact balloons were there in that room with the number 80 up there. And it was like really weird experience to walk in that room and see those balloons and see the number 80. Anyway, so I get back to the car and we spent the whole day. And my daughter finally says, "Oh yeah, the watch was on my Barbie doll the whole time." And I knew it was going to happen. It's like right before she said that, I had asked her if the watch was on the Barbie doll, and it seemed like she had said no, but it was on there the whole time. And it's like I felt like I had experienced that. I knew that watch was on that Barbie doll the whole time, and I knew it was going to happen. Of course, I'm not saying that that's deja vu. That could be just intuition saying, yeah, I know that's just my luck that watch is going to be on that Barbie doll that whole time after I've searched all this time for it, and those wet rocks. But the deja vu part was me walking in that room and recognizing everything that was there, even the food, down to the chicken and the barbecue and the baked beans and all that stuff, and seeing the number 80 balloons up there, like it just hit me like a ton of rocks. I don't know, and I'm a true believer in deja vu, that it does happen. It happens to all of us, I think.
Yeah, it seems like deja vus are most likely to occur in places where you have the most history. Like if you have if you're at the house you grew up in, or if you're with the people that that you grew up with. Not saying that you re-experience the same event because you've been together for so long. It just seems like places where there seems to be a history is where it's most likely to manifest itself for some reason. At least that's been the case for me. And most times when it happens, it's not with completely random people like at work or something like that that I hardly ever see, and all of a sudden we're at the water cooler having the same conversation we had last week or something like that. It's usually some type of family event or a holiday gathering or something like that, where everything just starts to feel like it already happened before, and yet it's happening again. It's really one of those things. It's hard to figure out the meaning behind it and why it feels so like you already know what's about to be said. You already know what's about to happen, and it's not like it's something ominous or something bad, but it's just like a feeling that you already know how it's going to play out, but you still have to wait and watch it go ahead and do it. It's just a weird thing.
I used to have it a lot as a child. Like when I was going to school and stuff, I'd have conversations with people at school and realize, like you said, you just sort of already knew everything that was going to be said. I'd look down and realize I had on the same clothes that I had on when I had this conversation before. It's very weird. But the weirdest one I ever had, the strangest, is when I was in Germany. Me and I don't know, there's probably two or three other people in the car. We was just riding around, and we was riding down a road we had never been on before, and we looked over, and there was this big giant house on the side of the mountain, which is normal in Germany. There's castles built in the mountain and houses, and it's awesome. But there was this big house with a lot of glass on it, so it caught your eye. And we'd always ride around to go look for something to go check out, like I said, normally we'd check out castles, whatever. It's awesome. So we decided we'll go up and check out this house. But as we was going up, I was freaking out. I said, dude, I know this house. And I'm in Germany. You know what I mean? I ain't never been in Germany before, let alone on this road with these guys at this time. I said, before we go in, I'm going to tell you, when you go in the house, it's going to look like this. This is going to be here. That's going to be there. It's going to be exactly like this. Over here is going to be this room with this stuff in it. Over here is going to, I described that house to a T. They were freaking out almost as much as I was, probably. And there's no way I'd ever been to or ever seen that house before in my life. So that was the freakiest sort of deja vu thing that ever happened to me.
Yeah, that is an extreme example. It's almost, and I'm not suggesting that this is the case, but it's almost like you may have been there in a former life, or a former self, or something along those lines.
Yeah, it definitely leads towards a pre-life type thing, whatever they call that. No doubt about it. But I'm not saying that because I don't know if that's true or not. But all I can say is it was the weirdest thing that ever happened to me. And I described that house perfectly. We were miles away when we seen it. Like I said, it was up on a mountain. You couldn't make out any details, just this bright glaring. We was going to go look at it, see what it was. We didn't even really know it was a house at the time. And as we starting up, I was like, dude, I was freaking out. So I was telling him, this is a house and it's going to be just like this. And that was definitely, well, I don't know if it was the wildest thing that ever happened to me, because some pretty wild things have happened to me, but it was definitely one of the weirdest things that ever happened. How I knew that house, how I knew the layout is beyond my understanding, for sure.
Yeah, I got a story that's, I don't, you got me thinking about, weird things that's happened to me, or things of that nature. Yeah, are you guys familiar with the traveling yawn? Do you know what I'm talking about? Like how one person yawns and then it causes another person to yawn, and then
Oh,
they
yeah.
like,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, one time I was a passenger in the car on the expressway, and I saw a person in the car, the driver in the car to the left of me yawn, like a really big yawn, like the one where they take their fist and they put it in front of their face, like that does something. I have no idea why people do that. I guess in case, so no bugs fly in or whatever, why they got their jaw dropped all the way down. And then I see the car. Um, I see, and then I see the person driving the car that I'm in, that they yawn as soon as that yawn is over, and I look over to the right, and the driver that's not even paying attention to the other two cars, looking straight ahead, they yawn immediately after that. Now I realize that this could be just a strange coincidence where everybody's just kind of tired and got a case of the yawns. But I swear I watched that yawn travel from the fast lane to the middle lane to the slow lane in a matter of like 7 to 10 seconds. It was so weird.
Yeah, that's wild. That's definitely wild.
I'll tell you, it's funny. Um, circling back to past lives, or circling not so much past lives, but circling back to deja vu. It's funny, Sagirictly speaking, how you would mention that that could be all a part of past lives. And I'm not saying that I believe in past lives or anything like that, but a lot of people do say that the people who do believe in past lives do say that deja vu is caused by people experiencing past life residual. And there's a lot of people, there's mostly, it seems like it affects little kids more than it does adults, where the little kid, even as a baby, will grow up, will say things, even at a very young age, when their verbal skills aren't quite as developed, will say things that gets the parents scratching their heads. Like they'll say where they used to live. They'll talk about a backyard and a swing set and a place where they used to live, and they'll describe the inside of the house perfectly and talk about a dog or a cat that they used to have growing up, or even talk about the war and the war buddies that they used to have, like World War II or the Korean War, or whatever. And there's a lot of stories like that, and there's videos like that on YouTube. I don't know if any of you guys ever run across any. There's one strange story about a kid who was getting its diaper changed. And I don't know if I can believe that a kid would have the verbal skills to even speak like this, or even if maybe this was being spoke through him. But the dad was changing the kid's diaper, and then the kid looked up at the dad and said, "I used to change your diaper just like this when you were my age, or whatever, or when you were little too," or something like that. I don't know. And now I find that one really hard to believe, because a little kid like that would not have the verbal skills to even say anything like that. You know what I mean? Or to even vocalize what, what he just said. But the deja vu thing, it's definitely a weird thing. We all have those moments where we go, whoa, I was just here. We just had this conversation. Like I'll turn to my wife and I'll say, didn't we just talk about this? And she'll say, no, not that I'm aware of. And I'll say, I could have swore we just had this same exact conversation not even too long ago. And she'll say, well, no, you must be thinking about someone else. I'm like, no, I'm pretty sure you and I had this exact same conversation. And that's the strange thing about deja vu also, is you'll remember something that someone else won't remember. It's a lot like the whole Mandela effect, you know?
Yeah, somewhat, no doubt. It's definitely a memory that someone else don't have, although they're in the same exact conversation.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's a personal thing. I've never experienced a group deja vu where everybody is feeling it at the same time. I don't know if that would make it better or worse, though, to be honest with you.
Is there any there was some mention God's Armor, let me ask you this. Is there any mention of past lives? Like, have you ever experienced, I know you don't believe in past lives. I'm not saying I know you don't. I'm saying, did you ever at one time maybe believe in past lives ever?
Well, let me put it to you this way. And first of all, my wife just reminded me, I almost forgot. So let me throw this in. My son used to always say different things when he was growing up. Like, he'd be like, I can't wait to drive. And she'd be like, well, you're not old enough to drive yet. He said, yeah, but I used to drive when I was older. He'd say stuff like that a lot. So that's sort of strange, sort of ties into a past life type thing. He remembers driving when he was older, and it wasn't just driving. He'd say stuff like that all the time. Oh, I used to do that when I was older. I did that when I was older. And so that was sort of weird. But the Germany thing definitely made me think about it a lot. and especially back then, because I was into the occult and Satanism and all kind of stuff. So I had no problem believing in past lives back then. And especially since I knew the house so well, and even the name of the person that owned it. And yeah, it was just too much. But I don't, it ain't that I don't believe in past lives. Like the Bible says it's appointed once for man to die and then the judgment. But that doesn't necessarily rule out past lives, because once to die means you are going to die once. Does that mean you can't live a couple times before you die once? I don't know. This is all man's perspective on what the book says. So I don't rule out past life experiences, especially after having the experience I had and stuff like that. And I don't find it unbiblical because, yeah, I know it says once you're going to die, but that has absolutely nothing to do with the fact that our spirit might go on till the end and then we die. I don't know. These are things that's way beyond my understanding. Only the Father knows. So I'm open either way. I definitely know that house was strange. There's no way possible I could have read about it, heard about it, seen it, knew anything about it, thousands of miles away in a country I'd never been in, yet know it. So something's definitely strange there.
Yeah, for sure. I have to concur. I think that there's things about our reality that and our construct here that go that are beyond our ability to even imagine what is what is and isn't possible. I mean, um, I'm not trying to get too far fetched here, but I think that there's a lot of times when you can literally consciously create a reality as well. I think that I've been seeing ever since our last show, where you said, it's what you're seeking or what you're looking for that you're going to find, and I think you mentioned that God's armor, and I've been seeing that same message, the synchronicity of it coming up in so many different ways. I'm finding it I'm seeing it in different things that I'm looking at online. I'm literally seeing that exact message come up over and over and over again. So I really believe that it's a message that I'm meant to hear. That I need to look for the reality that I want. That's how I'm going to find it. I'm not going to. It's where I guide my attention, where I focus my energy, where I will literally create. What my new reality or the one that I'm destined for. And I really believe that it's one of those things where you have to stay vigilant and you have to stay consciously aware of what you're really shooting for in order to achieve it. And if you're consuming yourself with negative energy and negative vibrations, then you're going to get, if you're putting in negative energy, you're going to get out negative energy. And I don't know. I'm kind of going in 1,000 different directions here, but what I'm really just trying to say is it just does seem like there's things that are bigger and beyond, what we're totally capable of realizing. I don't know. That's really all I got.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep. And another thing we got to remember that, again, that sort of could be twisted and used to say that past lives are possible. I'm not saying it does. I'm just saying I think about everything Jesus says, and I realize I don't understand a lot of it. But we got to remember the disciples were questioning Jesus about the fact that it had been prophesied that Elijah had to return before Jesus, basically. I'm paraphrasing the whole thing here, but there's a prophecy that said Elijah had to return to the earth before Jesus would be here. And they were like, well, what about that? Elijah was supposed to come before the Son of God come. And he says, well, Elijah did come, but he came. John the Baptist was Elijah, basically, is what he says. So, I mean, that's pretty interesting Elijah's spirit was in John the Baptist. Now, does that just mean John the Baptist had the same spirit of Elijah as far as being a prophet and telling people to repent, the end is near? Or does that literally mean Elijah's spirit was with John the Baptist? I mean, that's why I don't discount anything about past lives, because I could easily make Bible verses to prove past life. So, but I don't do that because I don't know if that's what they prove. You know what I'm saying? All I'm saying is we don't even begin to comprehend fully what Jesus tried to teach us. So things like that definitely have to make you wonder what he means. I mean, like I said, he could have meant John just had the same spirit, the same enthusiasm, the same drive, the same whatever you want to call it as Elijah had. Or he could have meant what he said, and he said he had the spirit of Elijah. So there you go. Take your pick. Either one's possible. We don't even begin to understand.
Yeah, there's like a
How do you
old
do this?
wives' tale or old lore. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of this, where
This call is
you're.
scheduled to end in 5 minutes.
Hold on.
Count.
Hold on a second.
All right.
Sorry, I thought we had somebody there for a second. Sagirictly speaking, is that you?
I mean, I'm not muted. You mean to mute?
Yeah, just one second. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. I thought we had someone there for a second that beat twice, but I don't know. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm new at this call-in thing, so GodsArmor, how do you beat people in?
I've never used it in my life.
Oh, so I apologize.
According to Dan, there must be a screen that shows calls coming in and they can open and show you a number. Never read the number out, of course. And how you answer it, how any of that works, I have no clue. But you should be able to see if there's calls there. That much I know.
Oh shoot. Okay. Let me try this again. Go ahead and carry on, Sagirictly speak. I'm sorry I interrupted. Go ahead.
All right. Yeah, I was gonna say, are you guys familiar with this? Like, I guess it's an old wives' tale or it's old lore, where birthmarks, people some along some circles they believe birthmarks are a sign or have something to do with how you died in a past life. For instance, if you don't have a birthmark at all, it means you died of natural causes. Um, and if it's oval shaped but thin, it could be a knife or a sword wound, depending on how long ago that past life was. Or if it's got a round edge and sticks out a little weird, it could be a sign of a bullet or being impaled by an object. A discoloration or a weird mark on a certain part of your body could suggest a fire or car accident or another sort of trauma. It might just be just like, just one of those things where people just like to have fun with, interpreting their birthmarks. But that is something that I've heard about before. I don't know if any of you guys have ever heard that lore or that wives' tale before.
No, I never heard about that, but that's definitely fascinating. Definitely interesting to check into. But no, I never heard about that.
It does seem like sometimes birthmarks on certain people do have like a weird shape or a design where it almost seems like some type of symbology. That you could definitely decipher some type of higher meaning into it than it's just a plain old birthmark. Just saying.
Birthmark. Yeah. I'm sorry, I was messing with the Uber conference. Go ahead, GodsArmor. You answer him. I'm sorry.
No, I was just going to say, yeah, it's definitely strange and something. I mean, anything's a possibility, no doubt about that. And I know some people, like I know a friend of mine, one child, he has a birthmark sort of shaped like a bird, and they tried to remove it, and it just came back. So it seems like birthmarks are meant to be there too, possibly.
Yeah, for sure. I think they're obviously they're an identifying feature, you know, for as far as like if you go missing or as a child or something, they say, well, does your child have any birthmarks and stuff like that? But I think they can also be an identifying feature just in your self-identification on how you identify yourself. If you have on the inside of your arm, a birthmark that's, you know, sort of shaped like a bird, you kind of you kind of own that. You kind of feel I don't know, like that's what makes you unique from everybody else. I don't know. I guess I'm going out on a limb here, but I can see how they have a deeper meaning. I can see how somebody could interpret it that way.
Yeah, my one grandson, he has well, don't you guys even start with the Nephilim crap, because I will hunt you down. But he basically has what they call 6 fingers on each hand, but they're not really fingers. They're just like a big wart more than anything. But and my daughter decided to have them removed. I said, leave them alone, you know, God don't make mistakes. And even the one they tried to remove, it just came back. So like I said, it seems like when it's there, it's supposed to be there. They can try to get rid of it, but it seems to come back. The birthmark I know about came right back, and my grandson's quote unquote finger, as they call it, came back.
Interesting. Yeah, I'm definitely Nephilim out. I don't want to Nephilim again this week.
That's funny. They call it 6 fingers, but like I said, but it's wild because one time, what was a little girl said something about he had an extra finger on his hand. So, remember, she even called it a finger.
Yeah. Well, I was at the zoo, remember?
Oh yeah, at the zoo.
Some
Yeah.
little girl noticed that.
Yeah, some little girl said, "Look, you got an extra finger." So interesting.
Yeah, when I was younger, I used to DJ. I was a professional DJ, and I got into the hip hop DJing a little bit, where I would do the scratching like they do with the record, where it's like, you know, like
Better watch
The Lone Eagle.
yeah, exactly.
You're trade infringing.
Yeah, I know, right? You know, like I don't know if you guys remember Herbie Hancock, the song Rocket. You know what I'm talking about? Well, anyway, I would do that a lot. I would spend hours practicing, trying to get better at it, and I built up a callus on my finger from doing it so often, from flipping that button and that switch on that stereo mixer. I did it for so many hours, so for over the course of many years, probably over 6 or 7 years. That it's just now starting to kind of fade and go away. But then later, as I got older, I started playing pool, and I was in a little pool league in my neighborhood, and all of a sudden that callus became very handy because it enabled me to be able to hold the cue stick a certain way, where that bump kind of the cue stick would ride over that callus on my finger and help me keep the pool cue steadier than I would be able to do otherwise. And I remember thinking to myself that it's funny how one thing, the cause and effect, the effect of me spending all those years building that callus is now giving me the ability to play pool better. I always thought that was kind of weird.
You know, I've always been a pretty good pool player back in the day. Still am, but that's one thing I could do is I could play pool. I can't bowl worth anything, but I could play pool pretty good.
Let me
But
ask you this: Are you good at math, Ebro? Like, are you good like at just doing math in your head and stuff like that?
no, but I'll tell you what, though, my grandpa, even to this day, he can work numbers in his head like faster than your average mathematician, and he will sit down and he will give people tests, and anybody that would come over, like any of my friends that would come over, he would give them a piece of paper and a pencil and say, okay, I want you to add up all these numbers, and I'll add up my numbers, and I'm going to go over your numbers and check them out, and I'll time you. And then he would time them, and then he'd have them timed, and they would take the thing and he would have them done. He said, let me know when you're ready to start, and he'd have them done before they would even start. So, but to answer your question, no, I'm not very good. Yeah.
I was just curious because a lot of people that are good at pool are inherently good at geometry in their head, because that's essentially what you're doing more often than not when you're working those angles with the cue stick and whatnot. You're visually you're visually doing math.
Well, that would make sense because my grandpa was one of the best pool players in town. So that would add up with him. I don't know what happened to me. I guess I just picked it up by learning, by hanging out in all those kinds of places. I used to hang out in the VFW and stuff because he would bring me in there when I was little. And so I guess I just picked up on by watching him and him teaching me play and stuff like that. Because I definitely was, I sucked at math. Let's just be blunt about it. I flat out sucked. But I was good at pool, so I did good somewhere at least.
All right, since we're talking about kind of strange things and oddball type phenomenons and stuff, I saw, how you come across these strange YouTube videos, like where dinosaurs created the pyramids and all kinds of stuff. That's my go-to phrase for one of those clickbait YouTube videos. But I saw one where they were trying to explain time travel. That if it did exist, a way for you to be able to, mentally grasp it, and it's imagine two people or two objects. Um, they're far, they could be as far away as um, 50 feet, or they could be as far away as 50 miles. Okay, or 50 light years away from each other. It don't matter the amount of space. And what matters is the angle. If they if the one object is moving toward the place that the other object, if both objects are angled in a way that they're going to intersect, in a sense, there is a time in their future where they're going to meet, right? I mean, you understand what I mean, right? But if they're going away from each other, then they're not going toward each other's future. They're going toward each other's past. If they're moving away from each other, if they're positioned, like, say, if you imagine a chessboard, you know, um, two pieces that are forming a triangular shape where there's going to be a point where they meet, or if they're going the opposite way where they're never going to meet and they're going away from each other, they're essentially going toward each other's past. And it got me thinking a little bit more in depthly about just that theory in general. And I hope I haven't lost you already. But then I started thinking about, like, when a quarterback is throwing up, when a really good quarterback is essentially good at short intervals of time travel, because when he's throwing the ball, he leads the passer or the receiver. I mean, in the sense that where he's throwing the ball, he knows that that's where he's got to put it, where the receiver is going to be, not where he's currently at.
Yeah.
So he's essentially creating a 7-second time travel window that he hopes will occur. And I don't know. I just started thinking about that. I know I'm probably kind of way out there with this whole theory, but if you take that and you start thinking about practical applications, where there's times when you're driving and you're watching traffic and you're seeing the flow of traffic, where you're kind of like you're not really time traveling per se, but you're predicting events before they occur, and you're creating a you're creating you're kind of creating an instant mini reality bubble where you can manipulate your vehicle or your the way that you drive to make sure that you're in a certain position before everything occurs. And I got to thinking about that, and then applying it to the Mandela effect. I'm thinking, okay, so what if CERN or whatever is able to create these time bubbles on a larger scale? Wouldn't it make sense for them to try to instantly kind of have some type of want to have a certain way of controlling in a corrupt kind of way an outcome that if they have the ability to maneuver or control a near future, they're going to kind of inherently you're going to want to make it a favorable outcome for whatever your personal agenda is, or whatever makes it better for you. So then you have these residuals where we notice something is slightly off, or something is slightly different than the way we remember it. But maybe that's just because they didn't quite get it right. The past, that's when the receiver, they thought they were leading the passer, they thought they were leading the moment, but they failed. It was an incomplete pass per se, when we all of a sudden realized we pick up on the fact that wasn't Sally Fields' name, or Sally Fields named Sally Fields, or whatever happened to stovetop stuffing. It's one of those things where they had an incomplete pass. I know that's a lot to take in, but that was my little train of thought that I had the other day.
Well, I was gonna say that we have a caller, but they dropped from the line, so I'll go ahead.
I rambled on too long, huh?
Well, that's going to happen sometimes, as you find out when we have these call-in shows. People are going to just drop off. I mean, that's fine.
It was Suso. He's at work, so he said he'll try again in a bit.
Okay, I apologize for that, though. That's some interesting stuff that you laid down there, man. I talked on the program before, not this program, but on one of my videos about time travel, and I added it onto the Mandela effect, saying that what if these 13 members of CERN, in fact, did travel in time and did try to offset the events of World War II by changing Hitler, simply by taking Hitler's mother and giving Hitler a different father or something like that. And what would the applications of that be? But anyways, we got Suso on the line again. I believe that's who this is. I'm going to go ahead and unmute him. And we're going to try for the first time ever to have our callers. So let's unmute him. And yes, sir. First time ever. You're on the air with Hebro. Can you hear us?
I can. I can hear you.
Here, let me put you on.
Oh, man, I'm behind the bar.
There you go. Can everybody hear Suso?
Yeah, I hear him. He's a little faint, but I hear him.
Okay, good.
Well, I'm behind the bar. I'm trying to get away from the TVs.
All right. So what's on your mind, brother?
Nothing. I was at the bar. I'm always talking Mandela Effect stuff, and then we're all talking about these new things that are coming up, and this guy showed me something that I thought was pretty gross. I don't know what happened to the human race, man. have you heard about? And you know what? This is probably old. This is probably old news. Have you heard about nose hair extensions?
No, I can't say I have.
Man,
Like they want to make them longer type deal?
no, it's the because when I heard it, I thought these long hairs are hanging out of people's noses, and I think what they're doing is clipping extensions onto their nose hairs, and the hair is coming out their nose. I mean, I don't know. See, the extension thing, I guess that doesn't make it as gross, and I just don't understand some stuff. I mean, I didn't get all the piercing either, so
Yeah. What?
yeah, it's just I guess I don't like change.
What I don't get is the big earrings. You know what I'm talking about? The great big ones where they extend the earlobes.
Yes, that makes no sense to me
Yeah.
at all. Why would you? I mean, I get people want to express themselves, and I think everybody should express themselves the way they want. I have nothing against it. I just don't understand that.
Yeah, imagine what that looks like without the ring in it, and you're like 20 years later, and you're in a nursing home, and you got like this huge chunk of skin hanging off your ear.
They do close up. I've known people that had them and had to take them out for a job or whatever, and they close up.
Are you saying people actually buy extensions, like hair extensions, for their nose hairs?
Yes, sir. If you look it up, oh my God, Armor. The first one was a cute girl, and I'm just like, oh my God, what the picture he showed me, I'm like, why would she do that to herself? She's got these black hairs coming out her nose, and the black hairs look like they were groomed. I mean, but still.
I'm with you, brother. I don't get those.
Really strange. And it just does not look attractive at all. It's not attracting to me. I mean, maybe other people are attracted to that. And I'm, because we were talking about Mandela Effects and changes, and this guy said this came out of nowhere. And I said, well, this is something, I'm not going to sit here and call it a Mandela Effect, because I guarantee you 50% of the people are going to tell me they know people that have them.
I've heard of ragheads before, but I've never heard of that'd be like snot heads.
Yeah, if you sneeze, man. I mean, come on. I don't get it. That makes no sense.
Throw the extension right out on somebody.
Right.
But yeah, it's a slow night here at the bar. I thought I'd give you guys a buzz with that. I felt like it was bigger. I felt like it was more exciting. It's actually not.
Oh.
Hey, I wanted to tell you, Sue. So I saw it was probably about a week ago. It was late at night. You were playing a video footage from like that you recorded from like way back in the 90s, I think it was.
2016, probably 90.
Yeah, 2016. That's what it was, and that was really interesting stuff. I liked that. It intrigued me.
I'll tell you what, it's funny because I'll look back on those videos. I'll sit there and watch the premiere with everybody else. I might skim through them and vet them a little bit, but I really don't worry about it because I don't really want to edit the information I put out there. I say things I wish I didn't say. Hold on a sec. You know what, guys? I got to make a drink.
Okay. Make me one too. Make me one.
I can bring it back down. Hold on.
Okay.
And we'll have to hurt you.
Hey, when your first caller is the Dr. Seuss, you got it made.
There you go. Yeah. I'm very excited. I'm glad to have him on.
I love the Seuss.
Yeah. You think he can fax me a drink? I'll send him the money. Fax it to him.
I'm sure that'll be coming soon enough.
Right? Like those transporters.
Just go ahead and talk. Give me one back in a minute.
Okay. I'll tell you what, this is working out pretty good, huh?
Yeah, you can definitely hear him all right. Like I said, he is a little low, but
Yeah, it sounded pretty good overall.
It's working out. The only problem is I can't mute myself.
Is that a free service, that Uber conference? Do you have to pay for it?
No, you don't have to.
Sorry about that, guys.
Welcome back.
Hang up on me?
We're here.
You guys still with me?
Yeah, you there?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I'm back. Yeah, watching those old videos. I don't want to edit them. I say some things I wish I didn't say. I say some things that surprise the heck out of me. I'm like, oh my God, I said that back then, but I didn't like harp on it. You know, I just kind of breezed by it and mentioned it. And now it's something that I've been talking about, you know, like separation, like the infighting.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I was all over that with the flat earth stuff when I was early into it. I was like, I can't hang with these people. They just fight amongst each other about who's right. And that's what I was putting on my videos.
Yeah, that's one of the, it seems like the easiest things to argue about is something, you know, take a stand on something nobody's ever going to prove you wrong, right?
Right. You can't do it. But it's just neat looking at the old vids. And, you know, I got 2 more ready to go. I'll probably just, you know, and I got a couple more ready that I'm putting together. I'll probably do it till I get through 17, I guess. I wasn't really crazy about that bloopers video. I mean, if you want, you're welcome to skip that. There's some content in it, but I've said it in other videos, and most of the stuff was the camera falling and, you know, shit like that. So, but,
I liked your
yeah.
I like that one video you did. You have some beautiful country over there wherever it was, had like mountains and trees in it. What was that?
I've been looking for the keys, hon. I'm sorry, I haven't seen them. No.
Oh.
Yeah, no, that could have been the blooper tape where I had a lot of scenic stuff in it. Because it was just footage that I had that I didn't use, and I just threw it all together one day. And like just short clips, like 15 minutes of stuff, and then I just threw it all together and put it up there. I thought the good one was the trivia one at the bar.
Yeah, the trivia bar one. That'd be good.
A lot of new people listen to that and kind of answer the questions with the people, because he don't give the answers till the end. Or actually, there's 4 rounds. He gives the answers to the first 3 rounds after the 3rd round, and then does the 4th round.
Is there a lot of stuff in there that's Mandela affected where someone answered the question or like, no, that's not true because it's changed?
Oh, well, the very first round, I think the top score was 3 points out of 10. The top score was 3, so everybody was getting everything wrong. And there was some discussion in between rounds about some of the other newer ones. It was funny because some of the questions he asked, I was like, wow, I wrote all those questions down. It was like 50 questions. It was 12. It was 4 rounds of 12 questions, so 48 questions. And I was shocked at something like the Harry Potter one that didn't really last online about the Hagrid. We know about the blank stone. Now, the reason it didn't stay as a Mandela Effect or online a lot is because there's an English version and an extended version and the American version. And I was kind of telling people, look, that's the books. It's not the movie. They only made 1 movie. But the extended version is where the line's different, and I'm not sure about that. Now, I have a VCR tape of The Sorcerer's Stone. And I have a VCR upstairs somewhere. All I got to do is dig it out. If they say Philosopher's Stone, Hagrid, we know about the Philosopher's Stone, then it's a Mandela Effect.
Right.
Because in that video, it's an American version, and they absolutely 100% said, Hagrid, we know about the Sorcerer's Stone. So it's just a matter of me pulling that out, and you know, whether I don't know how many people would really care, but
I never really followed the Harry Potter too much, or what's the other one?
Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
I knew that's where you were going to go.
Yeah. So
Yeah, it was those, and then she got older, and we didn't see the third one together.
yeah, I got a lot of catching up to do.
Yeah. Yeah, I've been putting out reloaded videos. I think I have 6 of them out, or 8 of them if you include the bloopers and the trivia one. But the first 6, that's what I would watch if you're interested. If you're interested to see what I went through, I can't believe it. Like the very first video, I came out firing. I was telling people, yeah, stars came at me. You know, this is what happened. I was very into the flat Earth. I was into the Mandela Effect too, but there wasn't a lot of info out there about it. In 2015, when I was into it, there was practically 3 videos on it, and I wasn't, you know, I was slowly being pulled into it. I mean, looking back on it now, I'm like, well, I do say in the videos, the Mandela Effect should be bigger than flat Earth. The only reason flat Earth came out was because the Mandela Effect was noticed,
right,
or created, or whatever. And I really felt that way. I said, you know what? The bigger the Mandela Effect gets, the bigger people are going to be researching changes in reality. And can we do this, or are we being controlled, or it's malleable? Can we change this? Can we change our consciousness into a timeline where we always knew the Earth was flat, or that we know what it really is? I bet you we could. But the collective is so large, and we're just such a small percentage that our little collective is not going to be able to make that change that quick. So we probably have to go through this slowly, waking people up and having people wake up on their own. And you know, whether, you know, I tell them the information, I talk to them here at the bar. I mean, look, you're either into it or you're not. And if you're into it, how much further do you go?
Right.
I don't know many people that ran off and started exploring this and created a YouTube channel to talk to all us just because they spoke with me. But I am reaching a lot of people. I had one lady yesterday. Her husband's dragging her out of here. She's like, honey, we gotta go. Her and her friends are saying, but I could talk to this guy all night. And I told her husband, I said, yeah, I get that all the time.
Wow.
He just laughed. But she bought a book. She bought my book, and that's what we were talking
That's what
about. She's going through the book going, oh my God, oh my, and I'm like, just get to that chapter, just get to the 4th chapter. Don't worry. No, I want to read the whole thing.
Since you brought it up,
you better get
since you brought it up, Suso, since you brought it up, maybe you could tell everybody that's watching the channel, all 6 of them, where can you get a copy of your book at? Is it on Amazon or what?
It is on Amazon for $14. It's the best version out there. You can also get it on Amazon on Kindle for 99 cents.
Okay.
I never, you know, the book started out, it cost me about $1,800, and editing and shipping the books out here and everything else, it ended up costing me about $2,200 to publish my own book. I think at this point, I'm really close to making the money back. It was never about making money for me. It was about, wow, this should happen to me. And I seen other people starting to put out Mandela Effect books, and they were based on other people's experiences, and that really bothered me. I'm like, I got a whole crap load of experiences here, and the Mandela Effect is involved. It might not be directly involved, but it's involved in the whole thing, which I didn't realize when I wrote the book. The Mandela Effect is throughout the whole book. And it became a We Don't Die book, and that wasn't intended. I just started bringing up all these times. I had an accident, and the next day, McDonald's changed to McDonald's, but I blew it off as they modernized their sign. You know,
see, for me,
the impalement.
For me, that wasn't a change. For me, it's always been McDonald's for me. And I used to work there.
I've heard people say that.
Yeah. I used to work there for years. Yeah.
Well, for me, I was a teenager when it changed. For me. And I know it did now. But at the time, I only thought they modernized their sign. I thought it was weird that they put it up in a day because I was there the night before, because that was like my kitchen. And all I was doing was driving by it the next day, and I'm like, wow, that's weird. and the roof and the lights around the roof. And I thought, wow, that was a quick job. And then just ran off because I was probably picking up weed or something at somebody's house and wasn't really concerned about McDonald's.
Right. You were afterwards, huh?
No,
No.
not until 2015 when I looked back. And I started to look back at all the accidents I've had.
Right.
And I started to think, wait a minute, this is strange. The accident in Pittsburgh, too. Within a month, I stared at the Berenstain Bears. This was in 2012. After an accident where everybody behind me died, it was a 7-car pileup. A semi went through everybody in Pittsburgh. Yeah, they said the only reason I survived is because it was the third day I was in Pittsburgh. I got a new job. The back of the car was packed with all my stuff, and the semi was empty. They said if the semi had anything in it and your trunk was empty, you'd have been dead on impact.
Wow.
I was like, well, I'm pretty sure I died anyway. I'm pretty sure because, you know, the recoil, and I got slammed 3 times, and I was underneath the SUV in front of me, and I was in shock, couldn't get out of the car. Finally busted my way out of the car, and I just remember sitting on the side of the road waiting for my friend to come pick me up. And of course, he came up and he said, "You the one holding up all the traffic?" which everybody behind me died within a week. The first guy instantly, and then the next 2 were one in a day, and the next a week later. After that, within a month, for no reason at all, and I did this with Jiffy, and Skippy too. When I stared at the shelf when I was in Mississippi, I stared at the shelf with Jiffy, and Skippy. It was this weird glare. I'm in the supermarket. Why am I staring?
Yeah.
You know, I'm just sitting there. And then I wanted to take a picture of it and decided, I don't want peanut butter and jelly anyway. So why wouldn't I still take a picture of it?
Right.
I only wanted to take a picture because I'm scratching my head going, wow, how come somebody isn't getting sued? Jiffy and Skippy, somebody should be getting sued here. And
see, that's another one.
Take a picture of it. Didn't. Yeah, I went home and that night down on the Mandela Effects site talking about how Jiffy never existed. And I'm like, oh crap, I just solved it. Went back to the store and it was Jiff, big space, Skippy.
What was weird?
I'm like, there was nothing in the space. I called the guy over. I said, could you give me some Jiffy peanut butter? It's the only one I eat. He says, I'll go check in the back. I'll be right back. Well, what are you looking for? I just said Jiffy. Then he comes back and he's like, I don't think there is a Jiffy peanut butter. And I said, well, why did you leave in the first place? I wasn't that nasty about it. I'm sure I was polite. But I was pissed I didn't take a picture. Walking around with my phone going, it's a digital camera. Am I worried I'm going to run out of film?
Right.
And then with the Berenstain Bears, I just stared.
You know, Suso.
At them because for me, the Berenstain Bears never existed.
You know, Suso, for me, Suso, it was always Jiff. But here's the thing: it was Jiff with 2 F's. It was always with 2 F's, and then when I look and I saw it with 1 F, I'm like, what the? You know,
oh, good. There you go.
Yeah.
Hey, maybe it was Jiffy. Maybe it was Jiffy and it shifted to Jiff, but I've seen both on the shelves. And that doesn't mean anything. I mean, I know it because I'm sitting there going, which one? I always got the cheaper one, you know, and it was always Jiffy. And it tasted like cardboard. That's probably why it doesn't exist in this timeline. I don't know.
I always got Walmart brand or Kroger brand. So I don't know.
Well, now I'm eating yak, lamb, and catfish up here, so chicken fried yak. I'm like, oh my God, I never saw it in a million years. I got orbs telling me not to eat meat.
No,
I'm
man.
eating yak.
Yak. How is yak?
Okay, huh?
How is yak?
It's okay. You know, I still really haven't made an assessment on it. I couldn't eat the whole thing. It was big enough. I couldn't eat the whole thing because of my mind and the way I'm programmed. You know, if it was a cow, since cows grow at McDonald's, it's not a problem. You know, I can eat a burger. It's a program that I have. Now, I meet Chef here, and he's cooking this stuff. Yeah, catfish, lamb. I mean, I would never eat lamb in my life. He's, you know, going to make me try it one day. But I am trying other things, and I'm just amazed at some of the foods that, you know, he laughs at me when I say, oh yeah, of course there's chocolate peppers. There's so much food in the world that we don't know about, different vegetables and different fruits. And just because you've been programmed into your apples and oranges doesn't mean there's not other fruits and vegetables out there. And, you know, he got me thinking, because a lot of people are like, with the Mandela effect, are like, oh my God, there's all these peppers out there. Well, I only thought there were green and red peppers.
Yeah. Now you got green, yellow, orange.
And when the red ones showed up, I was surprised. I thought it was just green peppers.
Mm-hmm.
And then the red ones showed up, I was like, oh wow, I was a kid. I was a kid when that happened. And then all of a sudden we got yellow and brown and purple, and he's telling me, yeah, they've always been around. Now, I don't know if that's true. That's me taking his word for it like I take anybody else's word for anything.
Right.
It's not me looking it up or doing the research myself. But I try not to believe anything that's told to me anymore, no matter where it comes from. You know. But I better go in and check the bar. I do have a couple there.
Well, Suso, thanks for calling in.
Checking in on you guys.
And
sure.
It's been really.
The nose extension thing. I know, you know, dawned on me. I'm like, this ain't a Mandela effect. They don't want to talk about this.
We'll talk about whatever you want to talk about. That's fine.
I'm sure.
We didn't have anything.
Thanks for having me on.
Yeah.
Armor, nice to meet you, bro. And I swear I know the voice of Diva Dan is the man. What? You got 2 channels?
No, I got one channel. What I did is I changed my name to mess with Dan, mess with Scarab.
Oh, okay, all right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, well, I haven't heard from him in the last few days. I hope he's all right. If you hear from him, tell him I said hi.
Yeah, he canceled Saturday because he was down. He was tired.
Yeah, I figured, he told me he was planning on taking some time off, even though when, just take a break. But, all right, guys.
All right, thanks, Zeus. Talk to you later, brother.
Yeah, thanks for the call.
That was our epic first call.
You have a good night, brother.
Couldn't have got much better than the Zeus.
Well, no doubt about it. And I got to tell you guys something, though, real quick. You're going to think this is, I don't know why it's doing this, but I've got a countdown on this. I guess it's because I got the free version. I guess you got to pay for it, but it's actually only supposed to go for 45 minutes. And as he was talking, I was looking and it had a countdown that said 9 minutes, 8 minutes, 7 minutes. So it couldn't have ended more perfectly.
I'd say.
Cool.
Well, while you guys were on the call, I looked. I was looking up some stuff, and apparently, are you guys familiar with the El Camino?
Oh yeah, I always wanted. I grew up riding in the back of an El Camino.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but is the El Camino basically the truck version or the semi, like sort of a truck version of a Caprice or an Impala? If you took a Chevy Impala or Caprice, because they're pretty much the same car, and you put
it was a Chevelle.
A Chevelle, okay.
Yep.
All right. So would you believe that now Ford has a version of the El Camino that was a Ford Mustang, but it was a Ford Mustang, and it's their El Camino, but it's not called an El Camino?
The Ranchero.
The Ranchero. Okay.
Yeah, they work. Yeah, they both always.
Okay.
Yep.
I wasn't sure. I just saw somebody had posted that, and I thought I would run it past you guys.
Yep, I knew about both of them. And like I said, I grew up riding in the back of an El Camino, basically. And Rancheros were always there too, but they were always boxier. They were uglier than the El Camino, in my opinion. The El Camino was sleek and awesome.
Now, I'm not sure this is a Mandela effect either, but I've always wanted to ask somebody, and this might be the perfect time to bring it up. The Trans Am back in the day, you used to the fancy version. It had like a bird on its hood, right?
Yeah, Firebird.
Yeah, but there's also a car called a Firebird. Is that just a version of the Trans Am?
Basically, yeah. But the first fire, it all spawned off of Smokey and the Bandit. So they created that Firebird emblem that was in the show and put it out for the public. They basically everybody bought the black one with the gold bird, just like in the movie. And that was basically.
Which, by the way, I was, as a child growing up at that time, I was probably like 10 or 11 years old. I thought it was the coolest looking car I ever saw in my life.
Oh, yeah. Everybody wanted one back then. In fact, I know people that had them, but yeah, that basically, and they called it the Trans Am Firebird edition. And then basically they just continued on with the Firebird brand and quit putting the bird on it and changed the shape of the car. But yeah, Firebird spawned from basically that movie, Smokey and the Bandit.
Which I'm a big fan of those movies as well. I love the Smokey and the Bandit movies.
Oh yeah, they're classic. Definitely classics.
And the music was great. We got a long way to go, but a short time to get there. I love that song.
Yeah, I still sing that in my head sometimes after 19 hours, and I'm heading back to the farm.
Are you still there, Hebrew? All right, so I got another one I wanna say.
Hold on, 1 second before you get into that. I wanted to, man, you talk about your secreticities. Man, you were talking about the Firebird. I was going to call in Dan's show the other night and talk about the Firebird because I thought there was a change in there somewhere about the Firebird, because we used to call it, I thought it was a Trans Am. It was a Pontiac Trans Am is what I thought it was called. Was it both the Firebird and
Trans Am? That's what I'm saying. Pontiac made Trans Am, and when they made that Trans Am for the movie, everybody wanted one, so they created the Firebird, the Trans Am Firebird, and put that bird on it. That's a Firebird symbol. It's a phoenix actually, which isn't good, but and then they created basically the Trans Am Firebirds from there. That was the first Trans Am Firebird. But yeah, they're always Trans Am. Firebird's owned by Trans Am.
Because I remember my sister, not my sister, yeah, it was my sister. She had a Barbie car, and it wasn't, you know, back in those days, they didn't just have all pink Barbie cars. Back in the 80s, they had different colors, and I remember she had, it wasn't black, it was a blue Trans Am Firebird, and I remember she would have her Ken doll and her Barbies in it, and I would take my wrestlers. I had the huge rubber wrestlers, and I would take the wrestlers and I would beat up the Ken doll and throw him out of the car, and I would take the wrestlers and put them in the car.
So you're saying you carjacked your sister's Barbie car?
Yeah, I didn't do it. It was Hulk Hogan and Roddy Piper. But yeah, I did. And then also they would come home, or they would come into the room and be like, it is me and my girl cousin was the same age. Man, she had some really cool, really freaking cool toys for girl toys. Girl toys back then weren't all that girly, you know. Just saying.
Maybe you were just more in touch with your feminine side.
Hey, what's that? What's that button over there? What's that called? Moon? Oh, it's mute. Right.
Yeah.
That's a moot point.
Yeah, that's a moot point.
Yeah.
Well done, Saji. That was perfect. That's a moot point. So you were basically playing Grand Theft Auto before the game came out. You were carjacking your sister's Barbie car. Yeah.
Right. Hey, I'll admit it. Why not? Hey, wasn't that a great call, guys?
Suso's
Most
always
definitely.
great.
Yeah, he's got a dynamic personality, a good way of making things fun to listen to.
Yeah, Suso's awesome. I love it when we have him on as a guest. Love it when I get to go to his show. Oh man, I should ask him when he's going to get to do some lives again. We got to do another show. Our last one was all jacked up. The sound was all messed up. But we had fun, but no one could hear it very good.
I changed the conversation there. See what I did there?
Yeah, I remember on one of the videos I watched the other day where he's playing those old videos from 2016, I think he said. One of the things that I remember somebody commented in the chat room, the Pink Floyd, another break in the wall versus another brick in the wall. I can't imagine it being the other way around.
Yeah, that one's one that got me too, because I'm a big Floyd fan from back in the day. Yeah, it's definitely strange. It's real hard to hear, though. It's one of those that, man, it's hard to tell, but there's no doubt it's another brick in the wall. It was never break. So, and sometimes you can clearly hear they're saying break, which, no, that one's a big one for me too. I used to sing that song all the time, pedaling my bike around, playing it on the radio. Casey's Top 40. That song made the top 40 that you had to listen to. Yeah.
Yeah, Ebro, can you sing that for us? The Casey's Top 40 jingle?
Give us a quick chorus, brother.
I don't know about you guys sometimes.
All right, so here's another one that I've seen out there in the Mandela verse. Apparently, in the original Scooby-Doo series, I'm not talking about like anything like more recent, like the movies, or they've made Scooby-Doo movies and
Oh no, don't tell me they messed with Scooby-Doo.
Yeah, there's been a couple Mandela effects with Scooby-Doo related ones. Like one is like one of the more well-known ones is Shaggy's Adam's apple. Apparently, he had a more distinct Adam's apple the way most people remember it.
He had a huge Adam's apple.
Yeah.
But apparently, he don't have that Adam's apple anymore.
Oh my goodness! See, I'm not up on all these Mandela effects, so I don't remember that one.
And another one is that no one ever said, I would have got away with it too if it wasn't for the meddling kids, or if it wasn't for the meddling kids, I'd have got away with it too.
Wait,
what?
It's not in any of the original ones.
No,
I swear.
No,
that's what people are saying.
Okay, I'm triggered now. I'm muting up.
Yeah. Hey, you can't mute up, or I'll mute up too, because I'm triggered. Now wait a minute. Where's that at? Show us not show us, but send us the soundbite of that.
Well, it's not a soundbite. It's just. I mean, we need to research it. I haven't. I just came across it just like the last 10, 15 minutes, but
what is it say now?
It just never is said. It just never gets said. Period.
They've always said that.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, that was like the end of the show phrase. It's like I gotta get away with it too if it wasn't for them meddling kids.
I know. I think they still say it in the movie and in the newer, in the newer ones that have came out. But the original one back in the 70s,
Yeah, the ones I grew up watching.
Right.
Where my memories are from.
I've got to look this up now.
Yeah, that one. Wow. That's a big one to me, and it's probably old.
I'll research it between now and next Sunday, and I'll come back with if I can debunk it or not.
Yeah, it's probably an older effect, I'm sure. But like I said, I don't know half of them because I never really researched it much. Although I'm on a Mandela show, but I don't know half the Mandela effects, old ones. And That's definitely a new one to me. That blows my mind.
I still got the phone lines open if anybody wants to call in and talk about the Scooby-Doo thing.
I thought it was ending soon.
No, I had to what it is I had to go in and restart it.
Like you have to exit and then the whole operation then come back in again.
Yeah, that's all I did. But I want to talk a little bit about the Scooby-Doo one. Do you know anything else about it?
No, that's just it. I mean, are you familiar with the Adam's apple one already, Hebrew?
No, I always knew he had like a huge Adam's apple, and it would go up and down when he would talk.
Yeah,
Well, see
so
if you can
they
Google
basically
it real quick.
transgendered Shaggy.
Yeah, see if somebody can Google a Shaggy image from,
All right.
not see if he's got it or not.
I can't screen share, but I can make it so that one of you guys can screen share. Can you do that real fast, Armor? Just like Google it, and I'll set it so you can screen share when you're ready. If you could do it. I mean, I'm not putting pressure on you or anything. Just, I know Sad can't do it because he's on his phone, and I can't do it for some reason. Every time I go to try to screen share, it boots me out of it'll kill the stream.
Well, I just Googled Shaggy Scooby-Doo, and the images that came up, I don't see any Adam's apples.
No, it's freaky. You're going to freak out. I'm screen sharing, so they just sent me to present to everyone, but yeah, this ain't right.
How do I present to everyone? There we go. Oh,
Yep.
wow.
Yeah. Yeah, that's crazy.
Look at that. Do you see it, Sag? Sagirictly speaking?
Yeah, I'm looking. I can see it. It was there for a second.
You could see it on the new one. You see a little right there. Do you see it?
You're not letting him present anymore to everyone. He was for like a split second, but now he's not.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought I was. No, it's still up there.
All I see is your Batman logo.
Do you see it? Does everybody in the chat room see it? That's what I'm asking. The chat room. I mean the chat. It's still up on my screen. I can see it. I see it on the screen, Sagirictly speaking. I see it on the YouTube screen.
Okay, then it's just at my end. But I can bring it up myself. I mean, I already did. I saw that he don't have it anymore.
Hey, there's Mr. Jocko.
Yeah, I can't see it either, Saji. But as long as they can see it, that's cool. I see Batman figure too in the hangout window.
If Mr. Jocko wants to call in, he can. Just putting that out there. That is definitely strange right there. I'll tell you what. It seems like the newer one has it, but yeah, because I even remember like when he would talk or whatever, like he would zoinks, like it would go up and down. So
yeah, it was a prominent feature.
Yeah, that's a strange one. Okay. And the other thing is, so they no longer say we would have got away with it too if it weren't for you meddling kids and that lousy dog. That's what I remember. You meddling kids and that lousy dog of yours. I'm gonna look that up real quick. Give me a second, guys. And
Type in a Scooby-Doo Mandela Effect in Google, and then scroll about halfway down the page, and you'll see it says it in a Reddit thing.
I'm just gonna look for residual real quick.
If I type in literally the word Scooby-Doo Mandela Effect, and then the third one, it says Mandela Effect Foo Pets Topics Show, and then it says August 5th, 2016. Same with Scooby-Doo. In the original cartoon, nobody ever said, and I would have gotten away with it too if it weren't for those meddling kids. I see that on the screen.
I just found a meme. It says the Democrats would have won the election if it wasn't for those meddling Russians, and it shows Scooby-Doo characters.
That's funny.
Here's something. Let's see if you guys can hear. Here's a comment. This looks like the old cartoon. Hold on, Edge. Go ahead and mute up if you can.
I'm screen sharing the meme one quick.
Play after that. Huh? Oh, that's from Watch Mojo. I can't play it. Why does it have to be from Watch Mojo? Okay, that one's from WB. You can't hear it. How come it's so low? This must have been one someone. Let's see here. Maybe this one's higher.
I guess that about wraps up the ghost story.
Sag.
Mr. Weatherby, this ghost
Getting
really
echo.
doesn't need any introduction.
Sorry. Let me. Hold on.
I'm sure you'll recognize.
Let me rewind that.
I'm muted up now.
All right.
I guess that about wraps up the ghost story.
Can you guys hear it?
Mr. Weatherby, this ghost really doesn't need any introduction. As soon as we clean him up.
You probably can't hear it.
Yeah, it's pretty low, but we can hear it.
Oh, that's not what I thought it was going to be. Sorry, guys. But we'll have to, maybe we'll do this one when we're more prepared, and we'll find more.
I found a compilation, but they don't. It'll freak you out. They don't say meddling kids. Let me cue it up.
Okay.
And this is called Every Meddling Kids Comment from Scooby-Doo. That's the name of this video.
Okay.
Where are you? But okay, let me screen share. I got to jump between windows. So give me a minute. Okay, screen share. Okay, you got the screen.
Yeah, we can see it.
Hopefully you won't get a copyright, but here we go. It's only 41 seconds, so
Okay.
let me know if you can hear it.
Let me mute up.
If you kids hadn't come along, and I'd have found it if it wasn't for you snoopers. You blasted kids. Why didn't you mind your own business?
Yes, might have gotten away with it too. If it wasn't for these blasted kids and their dogs.
Blasted meddling kids.
And it would have been mine if it hadn't been for those meddling kids.
And I would have made millions if it hadn't been for you meddling kids.
Meddling young fools. They've gotten away with a king's ransom.
And I wish you'd have minded your own business. Well, in this case, it's police business.
There you go.
So they kind of say it.
Yeah, the last couple they said it. They look like newer ones. But all those originals, I mean, I remember those characters, the original ones. The first ones they were showing, they were definitely the older ones I watched. And they called them blasted kids. Yeah, that was strange.
Yeah, I don't ever remember blasted kids. I remember just straight up meddling kids. But there was a couple on there they said meddling kids. Those might have been newer ones. Definitely not ones from the here, let me stop screen sharing you.
And the one said blasted meddling kids.
Right. That was kind of offsetting, to say the least. Well, what do you guys think?
Yeah, we've been going a while. We might as well.
Yeah, I think it's time to go into that final left turn on the NASCAR race.
We got to test the phone lines. They worked well. We had Suso, so yeah, we can do phone calls next week, maybe, whenever we want.
I think it worked out pretty good. We got that one phone call, and that was a pretty good one.
Yeah, for sure. It's been another great show.
If you want to, let's do something we haven't done all night. Go ahead and give the room a final shout out, and then we'll call it quits. Mr. GodsArmor, if you will do that, please.
All right, give me 1 second. I gotta get the window. Okay, we got Eddie Von Keen just popped in. Jocko R. Naika's been with us since the beginning, I believe. Quite a while, anyhow. Suso, of course, was in the house. Let me screw up, see if I missed anyone. Oh, yeah, Preliminal was one of the first ones here. Not sure if he's still hanging with us. Definitely was here for a while. I believe that is everybody. If not, speak now or forever hold your peace. But that's all the ones I see on my list.
All right, cool. Well, that does it, guys. I'm going to close down the phone lines now. Oh, they closed down on their own. Huh, that's weird. So anyway, I think it was a good first time call thing. And I enjoyed the show. What do you think, guys?
Yeah, totally. We had a lot of fun. It was a pleasure.
All right, cool. Any last thoughts, GodsArmor or Sagirictly speaking? Any of you guys?
No, I just want to tell you guys, I probably would have got away with it, but it was those dang meddling kids.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and Eddie Von Keen mentioned Lone Eagle. I noticed people saying they haven't seen him in a couple weeks, so prayers out there for the Lone Eagle. Hopefully he's all right.
Yeah, most definitely. I know I sent him an email the other day. I haven't heard back from him.
Yeah. I know he said in the last one of his broadcasts he had quit doing Hangouts for a while, and he said he was going to cut back on YouTube. So maybe he's taking a break. Hopefully that's the case, and nothing's afoot, nothing's happened. So definitely we'll be thinking about him in our prayers and praying for him, hoping everything's all right. And from everybody here at the Hebrew channel to everyone out there, thanks everyone who tuned in tonight, and we hope you enjoyed the show. And oh yeah, make sure you watch GodsArmor this Wednesday, or else
Yeah, unless Hebrew's doing a live.
Yeah, and also if and check out Jesus' Callings channel, our guest last week, whatever she's got lined up. Make sure you
Yeah,
tune in for that.
Friday.
I might go live that day just because.
You might as well.
Yep.
No. I kid. But anyway, so yeah, boy, I say the longest goodbyes, don't I?
I think so, yeah. I think you got the record.
So yeah, from everyone here at the Hebrew channel, this has been Hebrew77, along with God's Armor and Sagirictly speaking, saying so long, everybody, and have a good night. See ya next week, hopefully.